All right, let's talk about a book. A single book from way back in 1543 that, well, it literally moved the Earth. It took on more than 1,000 years of accepted wisdom and completely flipped our view of the universe on its head.
So here's the core idea, and it is a total mind-bender. Copernicus is basically saying, you know how you see the sun and stars spinning around us every day? Yeah, that's not them moving. That's us. It sounds crazy, right? So how in the world did he make this unbelievable claim believable? Let's get into it. Okay, so the very first thing Copernicus needs us to do is to just accept this wild idea. The ground you're standing on, it's not still, not at all. It's actually moving, and moving fast.
And you really can't overstate just how insane this sounded back then. I mean, for 1,400 years, everyone, and I mean everyone, scientists, philosophers, theologians, agreed on one thing. The Earth does not move. It was the one fixed point in the entire universe. Everything else moved, but we were the stable center of it all.
So the obvious question, right? If we're hurtling through space, why can't we feel it? Why isn't there a constant gale-force wind? Why do things fall straight down? Copernicus knew this was the biggest hurdle. The old arguments made perfect sense to people. A spinning Earth just didn't feel right.
And his answer is, honestly, brilliant. He says, look, imagine you're on a boat sailing on calm water. You don't feel the motion, do you? Everything on the boat is moving right along with you. But if you look out at the shore, it looks like the land is moving backward. And that was his big idea. What if we're all just passengers on this giant ship called Earth, and what we think is the universe moving is really just our own motion?
But why? Why go to all this trouble to propose such a crazy idea? Well, Copernicus wasn't just some rebel looking to stir things up. He was a problem solver, and he was trying to fix a system that he thought was, well, a total mess. A monster, in his own words.
So here you've got the two competing ideas. On one side, the old model, the geocentric one, with Earth smack in the middle. And look, it kind of worked, but it was just so complicated and clunky. On the other side is what Copernicus proposed, a simple, elegant, sun-centered system that he argued was way more harmonious.
Copernicus basically starts his book by venting his frustrations. He's like, these guys can't even agree on how long a year is. Everyone was using these weird, contradictory mathematical gimmicks, things called epicycles and excentrics, just to force the numbers to work for an Earth-centered universe. It was a kludge. There was no true symmetry to it, as he put it.
And this is where he drops one of the greatest metaphors in science history. He says the old system was like someone trying to build a person by grabbing random limbs, a hand from here, a foot from there, a head from somewhere else. You wouldn't get a human, you'd get a monster. And that's what he thought of the astronomy of his day. It was an ugly, unnatural monster.
So his solution? Slay the monster. He wanted to replace it with something clean, something elegant, something that made sense. A whole new layout for the cosmos, where the sun sat right in the middle, like a king on a throne.
It all boils down to this one simple but incredibly profound question. What if we're wrong? What if that one thing everyone has taken for granted for 1,400 years is just not true? What if we're not the center of the dance, but just another one of the dancers?
And as soon as you make that one change, put the sun in the middle, everything just clicks into place. A beautiful, logical order appears out of nowhere. The time it takes for planets to go around suddenly makes perfect sense. The closer to the sun, the faster they orbit. All that messiness? Gone, replaced by a simple, undeniable pattern.
And you can just feel the awe in his words here. For him, this wasn't just about the math being cleaner. This was like seeing the universe as it was meant to be. It felt right. The sun, this brilliant lamp, had to be in the center. It was like a king on a throne ruling over its family of planets. It just fit.
Okay, but a beautiful idea isn't enough in science, right? It has to actually work. And the Copernican model wasn't just prettier. It was way better at solving problems. Specifically, it solved one huge puzzle that had been driving astronomers crazy for centuries.
And that puzzle is called retrograde motion. Here's the deal. If you watch a planet like Mars night after night, it mostly moves in one direction across the sky. But then it does this weird thing. It seems to slow down, stop, go backward for a bit, and then continue on its way. The old Earth-centered model had this really complicated explanation involving epicycles, basically circles on top of circles. It was a mess.
But in Copernicus' system, the mystery just vanishes.
It's not a mystery at all. It's just a matter of perspective. See, Earth is on an inner track, and we're moving faster than Mars. So every so often, we lap it. Think about passing a slower car on the highway. For a moment, from your point of view, it looks like that car is moving backward, right? That's all retrograde motion is. It's an illusion created by our own movement.
And that's the power of it. All those complicated epicycles, all those extra gears they had to invent for the heavens, poof, gone. You don't need them anymore. That backward motion wasn't real. It was just an illusion, what Copernicus called a parallax, caused by us flying by on our own orbit. Problem solved. Beautifully.
So, as you can imagine, the impact of this book was huge. It went way beyond just charting planets. This was about changing our address in the universe.
Because once you move the Earth from the center of everything to just another planet, well, that changes everything for us, doesn't it? We're no longer the star of the show. We're just one of the planets orbiting a star in a much, much bigger cosmos.
And it really all comes back to that brilliant ship analogy. Copernicus even brings in a quote from the Roman poet Virgil to really nail it. The idea is, once you realize your own boat is moving, you see the entire world differently. The land isn't slipping away, you are sailing forth.
And that, really, is the biggest takeaway from this book. It's more than just astronomy. It's a huge lesson in being humble enough to question what we think we know for sure. And it leaves us with this powerful question, one that's just as relevant today. If something everyone believed was true for over 1,000 years could be proven wrong, what are we absolutely sure about today that might be completely wrong?